All right, everybody, welcome back to Financial Friends. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Dividend Journey. I'm very excited to dive in to everything we have to talk about today. The main topic is going to be how dividends can pay for your lifestyle. But first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and update the portfolio with some new additions. Well, new funds additions. We went ahead and purchased a little bit more of our new John Deere position, bringing the average position here to 0.082 shares at an average cost of $426.10. We did purchase $10 of this stock. And of course, we had to do it. We had to add to SCHD. That brings our position to 2.209 shares with 78.07 being the cost per share. So you can see how this affects the portfolio. Annual income up to $10.44. I think the annual income has dropped just a little bit because of the estimate of FSDROX. I think that got altered somehow. I feel like I remember it being almost up to or being over $11. Or it could be because I think next year's things are not quite factored in yet. They seem to be populating here, and I think SCHD's is not quite populating next year in March, so that's bringing down that. But we are a little bit over, I think, that $11 annual income mark at the moment, so very, very excited for that. Obviously, John Deere bringing down the dividend yield, not worried about it. Into the topic of today's video, we're going to skip past a majority of those updates. We're going to be talking about how you can get dividends to pay for your lifestyle. Now, how can we do this, right? How can dividends pay for your lifestyle? Well, if you think about it, how much money would you need, let's say, for Starbucks stock to pay you enough so that you could have a Starbucks coffee on Starbucks, right? Paid for by the stock every day. Well, at $5 a cup of coffee times the 365 days, you would need $1,825 in annual income. And with Starbucks being the payer of said $1,825, you would need to own $85,000 worth of Starbucks stock. It's not completely unreasonable, right? Over a very, very long period of time, but you need to build up a pretty significant position. Now, let's say you wanted to buy an iPhone every year. And of course, you want that to be paid for by none other than Apple. Well, that would mean that you would need $1,000 of annual income, which would mean you need to own $202,000 worth of Apple stock. Moving a little bit quicker here, let's say you wanted a pair of Nike shoes, and you want that to be paid by, of course, Nike. $250 I think is a reasonable amount for a pair of Nike shoes, right? Even maybe a little bit more. Well, you're going to need to have $28,952 invested in Nike stock. That one is actually the lowest so far, and I think quite reasonable. Continuing to go forward, let's say you want rent paid for every year, right? That's a big one. Well, at $1,000 a month, we're just going to use that as an average. You're going to need $12,000 a year. And of course, you're going to want that paid for by none other than the Realty Income Corp themselves. Well, you would need $294,000 worth of Realty Income Corp to pay for your apartment, which I feel like you could have a pretty nice home at that rate, but this is passive income, just comes in by itself. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to own Realty Income Corp. And the last one we're going to go through, let's say you wanted just a can of Coke. So at $3 a can, it's going to be $1,095. Of course, you want none other than Coca-Cola to pay for that investment, and you would need just $26,906 invested in Coca-Cola stock, and you'd have enough for the dividends to pay you $3 every single day, so you could get yourself a nice, fresh, cold can of Coke. Now, this is stocks paying for your lifestyle. But these are also all companies that we might use on a day-to-day basis. We did Starbucks, Apple, Nike, Realty Income Corp, and Coke. You could throw a bunch of other ones out there. Even just in our own portfolio, we have Johnson & Johnson. You might take Motrin or medication or use Band-Aids. They might provide a prescription that you have or something similar like that. You could also take a look at a company like 3M, right? Using the Scotch tape. You could take a look at Walmart, Target, right? Any of these types of companies, they're going to be companies or things that you might use that can pay you to then use them. And I do this actually in my public portfolio. If you don't already follow me, it's right here behind me at Brendan Shimon Public. Give me a follow. I post every day. But let's take a look at Disney. You could invest $1 every time you watch a Disney movie, every time you log into Disney Plus, whatever you might be. I don't particularly do it, but I invest $5 every single time I go to Starbucks and buy a coffee from there. I invest $1 in Amazon every time my mom, who loves Amazon, purchases a package from Amazon. And I invest $1 every single time I walk into Target. Now, I've invested at other points in times, right, in Target. I've invested at other points in times in Amazon. Starbucks is one that I've been pretty diligent about. I've only really ever invested $5. I think I put in $20 one time when the stock dipped, but $5 every time I get a cup of coffee, every single time, like it's clockwork, religiously, minus the $20. So, yeah, I've gotten a good deal of coffees from there. But you get my point, right? We're investing in companies that are eventually going to pay us back for investing in them. And you can also think of this like, well, what's the opportunity cost of getting that iPhone, right? If instead I take my dividends from Apple, the $1,000, what's the opportunity cost of taking that $1,000 out instead of investing it? That's a whole nother thing that we could do, a whole nother discussion for another day of how instead of getting a new iPhone, you could invest in Apple. Instead of going on a shopping spree to Target, you could invest $100 in Target. Or instead of getting a coffee at all, I could have just invested what the coffee was worth plus $5 into Starbucks every single time, and I'd have a much larger position that would pay me much more in dividends. But the point is, we can make investing fun. We can invest in companies that then pay us back that we can at some point use to then pay for their services. So we might as well take advantage of it. I mean, it really is free money when you think about it. And we tend to use companies that are quality, right? That have some type of value. Johnson & Johnson, 3M, Apple, Disney, Target, Amazon, Starbucks, Google, right? These are companies that we use that are quality companies that we can buy stock in and that hopefully over the long run will continue to get better. So if you take nothing away from this video, have fun with investing. That's my message to you. Invest in companies that you use and maybe make a little game out of it and invest $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 every time you use their product, and eventually they will pay you. And then at some point you could build a $202,000 position and get a free iPhone every single year. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Comment down below if you made it to the end. Comment what stock you are now going to maybe do this in, right? What stock would you love to pay $1 or $2 to or invest in every single time you use it? Let me know down in the comments. Go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe. That way you can see the next video that comes out. Hit the bell right next to it so you're notified when that video comes out. And I will talk to you all in the next one. Have a great day.